This meeting, which is hereby called to order, is in compliance with the notice requirements of the law. Public notice was posted in the office of the Board of Education and communicated to the municipal clerk, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger on May 16, 2019. Okay. Would you please stand for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just wanted to make a brief statement. As everyone may see, that we have a computer here, and we have Ms. Pelestis on the video through computer. This is a process that is permitted under the law and pursuant to board policy. She is out of the country and would not have been able to attend the meeting tonight, so she is attending electronically. And the point and the reason that she has to be here on the computer is that in order to do that, she needs to actually be able to participate in the meeting. Meaning she needs to be able to hear what's going on, and we need to be able to hear if she says anything. And so that's why we have to set up the way we do tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Janice, roll call.
Okay. Ms. Dodd, Mr. Sales,
Present.
Mr. Miller, Ms. Mullen,
Present.
Mrs. Nutting,
Present.
Mrs. Phillips, here. Ms. Raz,
Here.
Dr. Sainer,
Present.
Ms. Pelestis.
That was sounded a little low.
Yeah, I do. We have turned it down because we could hear her too much.
Oh, during the Pledge of Allegiance. Get you. Okay.
All right, good evening all. Buenas noches a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much for being here. This is the portion of the meeting in which you can comment on agenda items only. Please state your name slowly, first and last name, your address for our records, please. Anyone? Please.
My name is John Flynn. I wanted to comment on the...
I'm sorry, what was your full name and address?
John Flynn,
Address?
78 Randolph Avenue. I'm in Mine Hill.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to comment on the Dover Middle School football program. I know that I attended a meeting that the athletic director had. Can you hear me, or do you need me to come up?
You're welcome to come up.
Come up a little bit. We don't bite much on the
Although we could actually hear you pretty well
So I attended the first meeting that was held in the high school to talk about interest. In the document that was given out, there was some inaccurate information to start with. So that raised some concerns. I'm a parent. I live in Mine Hill. My children live in Dover. My son just graduated last month. He played Dover football freshman year. My daughter graduated several years ago. And I have my youngest son will be in 8th grade in fall. So aside from being a parent, I'm also the president of the Junior Knights, which everybody knows Dover is a part of. So the statement by the school, or the superintendent saying there's no opportunity for Dover residents to play football, was inaccurate because we partner with Dover. We've had signs posted in Dover. We work with their rec department. I work with Lisa, stating that registration is open. All Dover kids, grades K through 9, K through 8, are eligible to register for cheerleading, flag football, and contact football. So it was a little off-putting that the meeting was presented to parents saying there's no opportunity for football. The reason I bring this up is, while I appreciate the goal to raise interest in the 7th and 8th grade level to prepare for Dover High School because we understand the challenges Dover High School program has had, there is detrimental repercussions to adding a league for 7th and 8th grade. If Dover does that, it will split the Junior Knights registration. We have about a third of our kids are Dover cheerleaders and Dover football players. If you take that, we can't allow, while the school said they will not force the players to pick one team or the other, in good conscience, we can't allow kids to play in summer heat 4 hours a day, 2 practices at that age group. The USA Football recommends no more than 2 hours of contact. So there's a health concern. So while Dover School said they won't force kids to choose, they can do both. In good conscience, we can't let those kids do that. And here's the repercussion. While this program is focused on the 7th and 8th graders, if that happens, the junior knights will most likely, honestly, and this is a concern, not be able to field the varsity team. We are part of the Morris Catholic Youth Football League.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
But we have about 45 seconds to go.
Okay, so if we can't field a team for the varsity level, all those kids, grades kindergarten through 6th grade, are without a football opportunity. And those kids will go to other sports, and the whole purpose of what we were told why Dover wants a middle school team to build interest will be for nothing, because both programs will fail, enrollment will drop. So our proposal is that the school works with our existing program, lets us use some of your resources, make Dover more of a part of the group. We've already enrolled Dover High School cheerleading to run our camp. We're donating to them for fundraising for their efforts, but there are consequences that I don't think the board was made aware of by approving this program, and it's going to affect the rest of the Dover kids from grades kindergarten through 6th grade.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Sue Shower, 346 West Clinton Street in Dover. I first wanted to congratulate Mr. McLaughlin and welcome him on his first meeting. Thank you for being here. I have two questions. The first one under, it's a new position, Director of Human Resources job description. I guess we'll be approving that tonight. Will that be explained, what that job description is? And then the second thing is under the proposed district goals, automated administrative processes, including but not limited to absence management. If you could also explain that when the time comes for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If no one else is interested, then we'll be closing the public section. Thank you. Ms. Jennings, the minutes, please.
So we have a motion to approve the minutes from the June 4th and the June 18th meetings.
So,
Second.
Any discussion or corrections?
question?
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Mullin?
Yes to June 4th and abstain from June 18th.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
Communication?
I have some thank you letters that I had sent to the board, sent to the Dover Board of Education from students that received scholarships. They were thank you letters. And then we have some correspondence from the Dover Middle School football parent meeting, which was held on July 1st, 2019 at 6 p.m.
Mr. Rosales, if I may. I just have a question about that Dover Middle School football parent meeting. Given Mr. Flynn's comments, and I may be not remembering correctly. If Dr. McLaughlin might be willing to explain where we are with that program, and maybe give some feedback on the meeting, if that's possible.
My understanding is that there were approximately 40 people in attendance, so there appeared to be support for the program. The program is being recommended because there have been some concerns about the viability of the high school program and the importance for a feeder program to be present here in town. As you know, it's seasonally, this is a timely matter, so we wanted to make sure that it was on the agenda so that we could move ahead. Until tonight, I did not hear any concerns relative to this program moving forward.
Anything else? Dr. Sainer?
I move that
that the board accept the secretary and treasurer reports for the months ending May 31st.
Roll call.
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruelas?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. McLaughlin,
Thank you.
practicing it.
So there is a resolution before the board to approve an out-of-district placement. It's actually a revision of a 2018-19 contract for some additional services that had to be provided to a student. And you'll also note that under B, there was a termination of the placement.
Going only A through.
A and B, and I think C has its own.
So moved. Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruelas?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
The board has a resolution before to approve the field trip.
I move that we approve the field trip as per the resolution listed on the agenda.
Second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruelas?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
Ms. Jones, we're going too quickly.
And the final resolution under this section is a approval of professional development and travel authorization as per the attached list.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruelas?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
Is that E?
Yes. So, thank you. I'd like to move ahead with my first report to the board. Excited to share that. I am truly happy to participate in my first meeting with the Board of Education in the Dover community. Well, prior to my arrival and since arriving on July the 1st, I've been sincerely impressed with the willingness of our staff and our community to engage with me and to share information, ideas, and aspirations for our school districts and for the students that we serve. It's abundantly apparent that this is a community that is dedicated to children and to learning. I'm humbled and appreciative to be a part of what I expect to be a very exciting and productive school year. Tonight, I've shared with the Board of Education 3 proposed goals and measurable activities for the 2019-2020 school year. I ask the Board's consideration in approving these goals, and in that way to allow our district leaders and our staff with necessary guiding principles as they set their own goals for the upcoming school year. The goals that are proposed to the Board were arrived upon by my conversation with many members of our local community, and I'm very appreciative of the time and the candor that they have provided to me to inform this proposal. Tonight, under the new business section of our agenda, we will discuss our district mission and vision. I thank the Board for placing a priority on these critically important areas, which will serve to further focus the district on a collaboratively designed path. Our New Jersey School Boards Association field representative, Charlene Peterson, has provided some possible August dates to facilitate that discussion, and I've shared those dates with the board, and in our new business part of the agenda, we can look at those dates. Upon the formulation of a district vision and mission statement, we will be well positioned to work as a community on a long-term strategic plan built from widespread stakeholder input. And such a plan will serve as a true roadmap for the foreseeable future of the Dover schools. Also, under the new business section of the agenda tonight, I would ask the board to consider altering our committee meeting schedule so that committee meetings can be held non-simultaneously and allowing greater administrative attendance and participation. I'm happy to share that the district has engaged with Educational Networks, a website design company. Educational Networks will be working with our district to reconstruct our website in a manner that provides important information to our community in a clear, crisp, and easy-to-navigate manner. The company will migrate all our current information and work with our staff to produce a website that is unique to Dover and meets our expectations. As a matter of fact, over the last 2 days, we've had the drones circling our schools, taking some overhead shots, and getting some good pictures of our facilities to put on the website. That all comes as part of the package. They really do a nice job with that. Included with the website will also be a mobile app that includes our district name and our logo. Other plans for increased technological communication are anticipated as well, but it's important that we start with our website so that other technology upgrades can be integrated into the site. Educational Network projects that the new site will be ready by September 1st. Also on tonight's agenda are 2 new agreements with Frontline Technology, and this goes back to one of the questions that was asked in public session. The first is for an automated substitute management system that was previously known as ASOP, so those who are familiar with that program would know it under that name. The second agreement is for an employee recruitment and hiring system that was formerly known as AppleTrack. So when Frontline bought these, they kind of changed the names of them, but people still refer to them by those 2 terms. The addition of the ASOP application will provide an ease of access for both staff and substitutes when absences are anticipated. We expect that in addition to a plethora of services provided by the application, it will also increase our substitute coverage, which has been a concern in the district. The AppleTrack system will increase the visibility and accessibility of the district to those who are seeking employment in our schools. The system is connected to multiple online recruiting sites and is presently used by the majority of school districts in New Jersey. As a matter of fact, the statistics are about almost 70% of districts use AppleTrack and over 80%, 85% use the other program. So we'll be joining a good company in the state. Pontonian Food Services, in conjunction with the school district, has finalized plans for a grab-and-go breakfast in September. This will ensure that each elementary and middle school student is provided with a breakfast each school day. We're also moving ahead with a point-of-service system to allow parents to have a digital account for food services that will eliminate paper tickets and also allow for greater anonymity for students who are on free and reduced lunch. The Dover School District is moving ahead with our application for preschool expansion. Thus far, I have commitments from Head Start and Dover Child Care Center that totals 4 classes. And combined with our own present classrooms, we are hoping to have 6 full-day, 3- and 4-year-old classes ready on October the 1st. That is contingent upon us receiving the funding, which we are confident we will receive. The application is due on August 1st. We'll be informed of the outcome on September 3rd, and we'll have a whole month to get ready, but I'm sure we will be. We're already anticipating that our needs and getting ahead of that. I posted information for interested families to respond and express their interest. An ad for the anticipated preschool positions was placed in last Sunday's Star Ledger, and we have already received a great deal of interest for those positions. So we're excited about that. On tonight's agenda, there are several staff reassignments. Dialogue has occurred with all staff in regard to the reassignments, and all the reassignments are designed to maximize program offerings and utilize staff according to their greatest strengths and talents. The reassignment of our physical education staff in particular will also ensure the district is now providing the required 150 minutes of mandated physical education instruction. I'm happy to share my recommendation this evening for the position of Assistant Superintendent of Schools. Ms. Dalla Blue is a truly collaborative leader with a continuous focus on students, and she'll be a wonderful addition to our Dover family. I'd also like to update the board on 2 additional district leadership positions, the Director of Special Services and the Director of Guidance. We're currently in receipt of applications from well-qualified and experienced administrators for both vacancies, and the process for interview will begin shortly. The response we have received is a real indication that Dover is a district of choice for educational leaders in our region, and I will, of course, continue to keep the board apprised of our progress in that area. I would also like to address the one question that came up before I finish my report in regard to the human resources position. That will not require a new hire. That is a reassignment of an existing administrator, and it will be a central office position. It will provide not only management of our personnel under one leadership position, but it will also provide the support to our staff, both new and existing staff, so that it is clear that they have the support of the district and the important work that they do, and that we can continue to hear their needs and make sure that any necessary programs are put in place and maintained in place so that our staff can be successful in working with our students to be successful. So we're very excited about that position, and I am happy to indicate that Mr. Bullock will be filling that role, which is a little bit of an adjustment from his prior role. And that completes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Gonzalez, if I may? Yes. Thank you. Dr. McLaughlin recommended Ms. Gala Palu for the position of Assistant Superintendent, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about Ms. Gala Palu, what special skills and talents and gifts might she bring to the district, and why specifically has Dr. McLaughlin selected this candidate to fill that position?
Thank you for that opportunity. And I do want to indicate that I will bring Ms. Palu, invite her to the next board meeting. We worked, and I want to extend my appreciation to the county superintendent for her expedited review, because I could not recommend that particular position without her approval. And she did really give her energies to that in a very short period of time, and I appreciate that greatly. We, I think, got her final approval at 3:09 today, so that was wonderful of them. So I appreciate that. I have had the opportunity to work with Ms. Palu in my prior district, and one of the things that, in addition to knowing that individual and working with her in a professional way, which is always a great advantage when you're recommending someone that you've had a working relationship with. She has a great background in special education, which, as you will see in the areas of goals, is a real priority here. Not just with the director that we are hiring for special education, but all the way through. I've always counted myself fortunate to have spent a great deal of my career focusing on special education, and I think that the advantage of having multiple layers of administrative attention being paid to special ed by individuals who are knowledgeable of it will be a great advantage to the district, because we have some significant challenges in that area, which I'm confident we will progress with. And I have more information for the board that I can share in regard to that. The other piece of information which I think is important, in a prior position, which she held for several years, Mrs. Palu was a sole administrator in a small district, meaning that she had a exposure to roles that typically would be at a superintendent level, almost at a board secretary level, to a principal level, and a director level. I think it's very important that the individual who fills this position is aware of the challenges that face our staff and our leadership team in all their capacities. Many times we work as district leaders in a specific area, and we don't always have the appreciation for what a building principal may have to deal with, or what a curriculum leader may have to deal with. Having someone who's had that exposure I feel it's a rarity, and I think it's a real advantage for us to bring someone on board. And ultimately, it's someone that I trust and that has a collaborative spirit that's really focused on students. I know I said that in my report, but I want to emphasize that, because I think whatever leaders we bring on board to complement those who are here and have that focus as well, We have to always be looking at children's needs first, not just saying it, but really feeling it in our spirit. And I feel that she's someone who really embodies that.
Mr. South, I have two more questions. Dr. McLaughlin, in his report, mentioned 2 additional district leaderships, and the public has also posed that question. Might you summarize those positions, Director of Special Services and Director of Guidance, what our district is looking for in those candidates?
We are looking for individuals who, again, have a wide lens. I think that's important. We are looking for individuals whose cultural competency and linguistic competency complements our district. We want to have diversity within our administrative staff as well as our instructional staff and our support staff. So that's very important. It's important for all of our decisions to be made in that type of context. So we're placing a high priority. Those who have seen the ads in the paper know that I have asked for preference for those who are bilingual and have a multicultural competence, which I think goes beyond just a linguistic, talent. So those are areas that we are taking a very hard look at. The nice thing is that we have received a good response, and each day we receive more. There are some interviews that are already scheduled for that purpose, but we're going to keep looking till we feel we have the right person. In terms of, I want to just focus on those 2 positions just for a second to talk about what I think the priorities are. For counseling, for Director of Counseling, that's it, with a full pre-K to 12 lens. Oftentimes, and it is very important that a counselor's role at the high school is supported because they are involved in college searches, they're involved with students who are experiencing many of the challenges of adolescence. It tends to be a focus for a director, but our director is going to oversee what I hope will be a growing counseling staff that will support children at all levels, inclusive of our SAC, overseeing many of our anti-bullying activities and character education, really getting knee-deep in that. So we're looking for someone really who has that type of competency. And in special education, as you know, we are looking to increase our offerings in the district, to have a home here in Dover for students who require specialized placements. That's going to be challenging both in terms of staffing and space. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go along. And someone who can support child study team and the unique jobs that they have and an understanding of that. So we're not a district that I think someone can cut their teeth on in terms of this job. We need someone who comes in who really is grounded, not just in the knowledge of the law, which many people are, but in the diverse needs of children and how to really germinate and build up programming that really meets our needs. So those are a number of the things that we're looking at for those 2 positions.
And then finally, Ms. Grisales, Dr. McLaughlin already alluded a little bit to our need to ensure that our administrators are competent, have cultural competencies, and are linguistically competent and can communicate with many of our community members in the language that they are most comfortable in. So I'm curious if Dr. McLaughlin is not bilingual in Spanish and English, and if Ms. Halu, Halu is not bilingual in Spanish and English. And while I understand that there's a preference for these other administrators, if the best person for the job for the Director of Guidance and Special Services is also not bilingual, how are we going to ensure that those needs are met, that the needs to communicate directly with our community in Spanish and in English is met?
Yeah, and that is one of the hallmarks I hope that you will see, and obviously I will have to demonstrate that to the board as we continue, is that we will work as a team. So there will be a team concept. The idea of how we reach our not only our students but our community is always going to be a question that is on the table for any initiative or any program that we're supporting. I am confident that we will build an executive team that has that type of representation. The important piece is that when we meet at the table, we're not meeting as individuals. I'm not looking at anything in a silo. The assistant superintendent is not looking at that in a silo. We're looking at that as a group. I think also, and these were conversations that I had with the board in my own candidacy. I think the deepest need is to make sure that we are sensitive to those needs and know where to get those answers and who to rely upon. And it isn't even just the executive team that's so important. It's the leadership that we have within our school community, our teacher leaders, our administrative leaders in the school level, in the department level. One of the pieces that I've been very gratified is that I've invited a biliteracy action team to come together, which they did right in the end days of school, right in those days when people want to go home, but they stuck around right here in this room. We have 18 of our staff who have committed already, and that's just in that initial group of people, which I think will grow, to working at least on a year-long basis on all areas that deal with biliteracy, and those are multiple dimensions of that. So I will rely upon that committee to hear our voices, because there's no assurance that even when you have someone on your executive team who is bilingual or who has another cultural perspective, that they will be making the right decisions. We need to hear multiple voices. We need to pay true attention to that, and that's the approach that we're taking.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Ms. Jens? Business Administrative Report?
Yes. So some of it might be a little bit of duplication, so I apologize. We just recently met with Pontonian to review the breakfast after the bell plan for the 2019-20 school year. The program, which is to begin in September, is required at all 3 elementary schools. The district will also provide this option to the middle school as well. Kiosks will be stationed at the point of student entry at each school, which is mainly the cafeterias. Students will receive a grab-and-go breakfast, which will contain all the necessary components to a reimbursable meal. The students will bring the grab-and-go breakfast to the classroom to eat it. All the necessary equipment for this program has been ordered, and the logistics are being finalized with the schools. The program will be up and running for the first day of school. The point-of-sale system is moving forward, and quotes are being currently obtained. The system will ensure a more efficient flow of students through the lunch line and also be in compliance with the State Department of Agricultural recommendation. Buildings and grounds, that's a busy area over the summer. So we have several projects going on. At East Dover, we have some site improvements. We have the playground and driveway, which were milled, and curbing was just recently installed. New paving was completed. Drainage was reconstructed, and paving was completed on the 15th. A sidewalk will be installed so students can enter the playground. Also at East Dover, the AC Phase 1 project is on its way. All of the electrical work for both phases of the AC project is now 90% complete. The old heating units were removed, and 15 new units should be on site by July 18th. The outside condensing units are on site and being installed for the AC part of the project. At Dover High School, the Media Center hallway project is on its way. The demolition work will start on the 17th of July. New ceilings and LED lighting will be installed. Walls will be sheetrocked, painted, and ceramic tile installed. At North Dover, a new PA system, intercom, was installed throughout the entire building. New wiring and call stations were installed, and the main console was replaced. Academy Street electrical service upgrade. That project is a work in progress. The contract was awarded and we are awaiting New Jersey DOE plan review approval. Academy Street 1927 School BAC project. That's also a work in progress. The contract was awarded and we are waiting for New Jersey Department of Ed plan review approval. The Academy Street school roof project. A pre-construction meeting was held on July 15th with myself and Mr. Gomes attending with the roofing contractor to review the project. To determine a start date and discuss mobilization and dumpster locations. This project should be complete before the beginning of the school year, weather permitting. Alyssa's Law, we are currently planning on working to determine what location the panic button would be and the silent alarm to the law enforcement. Mr. Gomes and I are meeting with the contractor next week to review that information. Also, the playground signs that we just recently ordered, they are in, and they will be installed by the 18th. So every playground will have 2 signs each, and it will be in English and Spanish. November elections. This month, Monday, July 29th at 4 p.m., there's a deadline to file nominating petitions for anyone that wants to consider school board candidacy in this year's general election. The general election date is November 5th, 2019. And to help current board members and prospective candidates, New Jersey School Boards Association publishes a school board candidates kit. This kit provides information on the responsibilities of school board members, requirements under the New Jersey School Ethics Act and other procedures, important dates, and the election process. To access the kit, there is a website, www.njsba.org/candidacy. And also I left some information by the agendas, and the information for this will be, it actually already is on the district website. My report.
Thank you,
Ms. Gonzalez, I have several questions. Sorry.
It's okay.
Regarding breakfast after the bell, you mentioned the 3 elementary schools and Dover Middle School. Can I ask why the decision was made not to offer breakfast after the bell for the high school students?
I believe because the high school has such a great variety of hot meals, and students typically actually participate at the highest percentage, actually one of the highest percentages in the state. So we really don't have an issue so much at the high school, and therefore we're not going to include them at this point. It's not to say that we would consider it in the future, but right now they seem to come earlier for breakfast and they enjoy, for instance, like waffle days and pancake days and
I think our speculation was that they would not grant the kids there.
Right.
Is there an option to put it out for the kid that's running at the bell who, on maybe 90% of the time is on time to get waffle money or waffle morning?
We can certainly do that, and I believe we do have a grab and go option.
Oh, okay, already?
At the cafeteria, but within just sitting at the cafeteria and eating it, but
There is a sign on the door in the cafeteria that says the store closes at a certain time, so perhaps just even if it's 5 students on a certain day that are running late, if we can feed them before they go to class, I think that would be great. At the others, not the high school, the other 4 schools, will there be a hot option available? Was there a hot option available, and is that being discontinued? How does that happen with breakfast after the bell?
So there were hot options available for students that came early, sat in the cafeteria, and ate breakfast. And that would still be available when school begins. But for breakfast after the bell and in the classroom, it needs to be grab and go.
That's fine. Thank you as a parent for the point of sale system. Thank you. I saved that. Forward. Okay, so awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. That's great. And then I just had a logistical question. You mentioned that the Academy Street group should be completed by the start of school. Are there any complications if it's not done by the start of school? And do we have a plan B to make sure that our kids can start school with a group?
I would basically say that 95% of the project will be done. There might be some just little touch-up areas that would not impact the students, but the plan is actually to really have it complete probably even the week before school, but obviously weather, things happen, but we already have plans, to begin, right, I believe after summer school. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your report, and also thank you for considering or finding a way to make at least some breakfast after development. It's pretty well.
Anyone else? I have a minor question, and it's an issue, I'm not sure if you have this information, but for just community knowledge, do you know what the signs are going to go in the parks say, what they will be?
I thought that was going to be asked, and I didn't bring it with me.
And it's okay, I know I didn't give you ahead of time, so I apologize.
We discussed that at the open discovery conference.
And I was going to ask it to the chairs, if there are any knowledge what it says? And I don't want you to say, without, it's okay. So if maybe we could perhaps, kind of announce that in our next meeting. The sign will be up. They'd be already, we'd be there, okay.
See it, I just didn't bring it.
That's okay, I apologize for not doing that.
It's very concise though, it's one sentence basically, one long sentence. But
Good. A runner, an English teacher will be my highlight. Okay. If you have it, please.
Yeah, the Dover Board of Education is not responsible for injuries or accidents which occur while playing on the playground without school supervision.
Thank you.
In English and Spanish.
yes, it's on one sign, but they're nice looking. It's a big sign, there will be two of them at each entry point.
Ms. Ruiz.
Thank you. The Personnel Committee has not met in the summer months. We had this regular session before that. However, I do move that the board approve staff and extra service appointments for the 2018 and 2019 school years as listed under A, 1, 2, and 3. Of course, contingent upon the required state and federal criminal history background checks in accordance with the law and completion of the required employee paperwork, including pre-employment verification.
Before someone seconds, I just noticed there appears to be a typo in A3. It says recommend, I think it's just supposed to be 2. But it says recommend instead of
The number is
2.
1. I'm sorry, yeah.
It's written as 1 word, I'm sure it should be 2 because then there's 2 dates listed. There may-
It's two.
Yeah, so it's just one way to correct that.
Okay.
So the motion as amended with crossing out the word 1 and writing in the word 2 to match the number 2 and the 2 days listed.
And second. Any discussion? I believe there were some questions.
My questions were answered during Dr. McLaughlin's report, so I was just happy. Thank you.
Ms. Knight, you had some questions? Were they answered?
Yes, they were.
Anyone else?
Roll call. Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips? Yes. Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Dr. Stainer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
I'll move on to personnel item B. However, I want to pause at B1. I think it warrants special attention. I apologize ahead of time if I get emotional about this. So I do move that we approve the staff and extra services appointments for 2019, 2020 as listed for 1 through November 26, including the required state and federal background checks in accordance with the law and completion of required employee paperwork, including pre-employment verification. In 1, we are recommending that we accept the following resignations for retirement purposes. Linda Sighack, Roger Connell, Betty Jo Solomon, Robert W. Riccadella, and Donna Schrader. We are very grateful for their service, and I have to say that Roger Kimo was my teacher, and I can't believe he's retiring, and just congratulating him and us on a great partnership and the next steps.
Can I abstain from that one?
Yes, we don't want to approve that. And all of the people that we have named that have given their service and clearly have mentored many people in our district and our community, we are very deeply grateful for their lifetimes of services. And 2, we are recommending accepting resignations, and in 3, salary adjustments, so on and so forth, that you may read for yourself, up to 26.
Motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
Just had a clarification. Just for number 18, just clarification of the movement of all the gym teachers.
Yes.
Who's a teacher?
Yes, so as I shared in my report, phys ed teachers, some of those moves were made to ensure that we had 150 minutes. Some other moves were made to be more conducive in terms of people's skills and talents and where they went. All the individuals who are recommended here had personal conferences in regard to their moves. So we're seeing this as a very positive movement to go. In addition to, there was also an English reassignment, I would say the same to that.
Ms. Rosales?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Nutting?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Ruiz?
Yes.
Dr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Pelestis?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips, negotiations?
The only update that I have is that we have a meeting scheduled with the negotiation unit for the administrators next Tuesday, 23rd. That will be our first meeting.
I'll be reporting for Mr. Miller. This will be a collaborative report. Mr. Miller is not here, but gave me a list, and Ms. Ruiz has a list, and we're going to share. Just that Ms. Nutting and Scott Miller participated in the Dover Middle School graduation, held at Dover High School, which is always great because there's so much more space, and that the details, the teachers, the support, the administration, just was so meaningful. It was a very great ceremony. Most of the Board of Ed members were at the Dover High School graduation ceremony, and again, it was kept almost within an hour. We're famous for that, and it was beautiful. The musicians, the speeches, everything was extremely. Yes, and I was wondering if we have our speeches online. They were very touching. The speeches should be published. They're not on our website. Mr. Miller discussed scouting in Dover with Dr. McLaughlin after meeting with the Patriots Path Council concerning opportunities in Dover and your willingness to partner. You seem to be partnering all over town, which is awesome. And again, Ms. Janice went over the deadline for filing the petition for the Dover Board of Ed. I also had the opportunity to go to the recorder violin concert at North Dover School, and it was incredible. National anthem on a recorder. It really took my, better than my children and that hot cross buns stuff. It was just very good, and the strings that the kids, it was very nice. And then I also went to the pre-K celebration in North Dover, and that was just so much fun. The kids were just so perfect. It was hard to believe that they were in preschool. It was just